With us now is Congressman Alcee Hastings. A real pleasure and honor to have you back on the show.
Thank you very
It's
much.
been a while. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Well, here we are in the year 2012, soon 2013, and all we can do is hope for a brighter future for all of us. How do you see the issues and the concerns facing the United States at this time in general, without getting it too dated?
Well, in general, the economy is the primary issue that we are confronted with in this country as well as around the world. The globalization that has taken place in the last 30 years has changed America substantially, and I think that Mr. Romney and President Obama are going to have to make it very clear what their vision is to try and change the circumstances. They keep referring, not them, but people keep referring to the circumstances that the United States is in as the new normal. I refer to it as the new normal abnormal, because when people are not working, then there can't be consumption. And when there is no consumption, you can't have productivity. And so I think that those are the critical issues. Healthcare, of course, is always a front burner issue. And you can't have any of this without talking about education.
One of my very best friends in the world is someone you know, Dr. Abram Fischler. He's the President Emeritus of Nova Southeastern University, right, and very much involved with the transformation of education. What are your thoughts on improving education following, for example, Dr. Fischler's vision?
First off, Abe and I go back from the beginning of Nova, and I was one of the interim professors that was satellited out in the criminal justice program, and he recruited me when I was a circuit court judge. Abe went on to be on the school board. But to answer your question directly, every child comes on this earth, unless he or she is disabled, with the ability to perform as much as any other child. The disparities that are a residual of the segregated circumstances that our nation was in, and this county. I filed the original school desegregation case here in Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, that led to the integration of the schools. That still has not stopped the economic disparities. What has to happen is we have to make sure every child has a computer, every family has one. We have to make sure that they get magazines and newspapers and are conversant with social media. And that's not happening. So if I was to introduce anything into the school system, it would be technology. If I was to follow up, I would make sure that we are training people for the new normal, whatever it is defined as, and for the jobs that are available. That's been Germany's and Israel's success. Their apprentice programs train people to do what is available to be done, and doesn't just empty people out with history degrees and psychology, no offense meant to either, but the fact of the matter is we have to structurally put an investment in teachers and stop the kinds of activities that are making people, teachers, be bad people.
Sir, I'd like to ask you before we conclude, what are your views on the cooperation between the State of Israel and the United States?
There's no daylight between the United States and Israel. The circumstances that we're confronted with in the Middle East are the kinds of things that require our rapt attention. The days for diplomacy with Iran, with the development of nuclear weaponry, growing short. I think Prime Minister Netanyahu made it very clear that there is a percentage that they may reach that will require action to stop them from achieving a nuclear weapon. I believe that Israel and the United States are firmly committed to that, and it's my great hope that it will be clearly understood by everyone, in spite of the outward appearances with reference to Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Obama. The simple fact of the matter is Netanyahu is not Israel and Obama is not America. They just happen to be leaders. But those of us in Congress, whether we are Republican or Democrat, are tremendous friends of the state of Israel, and there will be no retreating from assisting them in doing whatever is necessary to assure that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon.
Another question I have for you, sir, is with regard to education and the concern for returning Army vets and so forth. and the re-employment of the engineers in space, the aerospace industry and so forth, who have lost their jobs due to the ending of the shuttle program. What are we doing with regard to training and recertification and finding employment for returning vets?
We have programs that have been introduced that will be Hire a Hero programs. I was sorely disappointed that the United States Senate did not take up a measure offered by one of my Republican colleagues that would have done just that, prepare for these people that are coming home. For example, 33,000 people are coming from Afghanistan into an economy that doesn't have any jobs. They are persons that have given of their time, their life, and indeed their fortune in order to be able to make this country go forward. We need to go back to the old days. When veterans didn't have an education, we developed a veterans education program. When veterans didn't have a home, we developed a veterans homes program. In this particular era, we have these young people coming back with all of this technological experience and this economy moving from a manufacturing to a technological and service economy. And we need to be able to utilize their services and give them the same kind of priorities. Veterans came home from Korea and Vietnam, and what they were given was extra points when they went to the post office, so they got the jobs. And we need to give them that kind of consideration. I see that as just as primary as us sending them to Iraq and Afghanistan. And we need to have countless numbers of vendors made available at the same time as Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Ted Schultz, and Ted Deutsch, and Frederica Wilson, and I have done. There needs to be a good deal more of that kind of activity in order for veterans to be hired.
Congressman, this has been most interesting. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. It's been an honor. Thanks. Again, shalom.
Thank you, sir.